Thank you so much. It's great to be here in Garrett County this afternoon. This is a fantastic county. You guys showed up at greater numbers in the primaries than any other county in the state of Maryland when you look at percent of votes. Let me just say, I need you to show up in greater numbers than any other county in the state of Maryland on Election Day in November. We need every single person here in Garrett County to be voting for Trump and voting for Parrott. Woo! Yeah! So Fred was talking about the gerrymandering. I'm going to talk about that in just a second. This kind of transition. So that happened. It was Governor O'Malley who did the gerrymandering. I was not happy with that, obviously. And so we got together with IndyPetitions.com, which I was the chairman of. We got the signatures. We got it on the ballot. Unfortunately, they wrote the question unfairly. And because of that question, we actually took it to court. We went to the highest court in Maryland and said, hey, this question is not worded fairly. We need to change the question. The court said no. The Secretary of State can basically do whatever he wants, even though people can't understand it. So we lost on the ballot. However, we got on the ballot. When everybody saw the map, they're like, this map is ridiculous. We need to overturn it. But we have a chance right now to take the seat back. People look at the seat, and some people question, well, can we win or not? So let's just look at the past. 2014, it was a fairly good Republican year. Dan Bongino, does anybody remember him?
Yes.
He ran. He lost by just under 2%. We almost won the seat. But a lot of people don't know in the year 2014, there was also another Republican that ran in District 6. He was running for governor. And you know that in District 6, just forget the whole rest of the state, just District 6, Larry Hogan won that year. And then in 2018, Larry Hogan ran again, of course, across the whole state. But if you look just at District 6, just this map, Larry Hogan won with much better numbers than he ran and won in 2014. So can this seat be won?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Woo! Absolutely. How are we going to win this seat? How are we going to win the seat? The first thing is it needs to be a fairly good Republican year. But who here thinks that it will be a good Republican year?
Yeah!
Absolutely. On the top of the ticket, we've got Donald Trump. And on the other top of the ticket, on the Democrat side, we've got Joe Biden. You know, that contest needs to go to Donald Trump, hands down, and I believe that it will. And that will create a red wave across the whole country, which will affect District 6 and allow us to win right here. But it won't happen without us, again, getting our friends out to vote, making sure that we vote, getting our signs out, door knocking, phone calling. We're going to have to work together to make sure that people get out and vote, that they know not just to vote for the top of the ticket, but vote for Trump and vote for Parrott. Doing those things here in Garrett County, repeating that in Allegheny and Washington, and then working in Frederick and Montgomery counties to get our message out and get the message of sanity out and of unity. That we need to have a country that comes together, you know, e pluribus unum, right? That used to be our motto. We all need to come together, and this is what needs to happen in this next election. Unfortunately, we're seeing a lot of forces in our country right now that are trying to divide everyone.
That's right.
And it's sad. And we look at the polls right now, people are saying they don't really know where to go. But I think as we go further and further into this, as we head towards November, people are going to wake up and say, this is not America. We don't let cities just burn down.
Yeah. That's right.
We don't let businesses just get destroyed. The government's job is defined pretty clearly in the Declaration of Independence, where we have the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And if you look at what John Locke said when they actually got that quote, it was life, liberty, and property. The government is there to protect our life and our liberties, our freedoms, and our property. Right now, unfortunately, we're seeing an assault on our freedoms. Just look at the churches, and look at Nevada. There was a lawsuit. It went to the U.S. Supreme Court. It lost 5-4. Unfortunately, one person who we thought was conservative didn't end up voting conservatively. But 5-4, they said the casinos can all stay open. That's fine. It's no problem at all with COVID-19. But your churches, they better not open, because if they open, we're going to fine them and put them in jail. Is that right?
No!
No, we have to fight back. But there's good news. And there's a huge, stark difference between Biden and Trump. Let's look at the Ninth Circuit Court from California. Has anything ever good come out of the Ninth Circuit Court in California?
One.
Not been.
Yesterday.
The answer is no. My whole life, the Ninth Circuit Court, I was like, why don't we just get rid of that court? It's terrible. But just yesterday, they came out with a decision that said that a law that California passed that says that you have to only sell 10 rounds or less of firearms is illegal. It breaks the Second Amendment to the United States Constitution. And why did that happen? That's correct. President Trump put new justices on the Ninth Circuit Court. Some retired, new ones came in, and the new justices are bringing sanity to what was the worst court in the entire country. Now, looking at Maryland, we have that same law here in Maryland. So if this is upheld by the U.S. Supreme Court, then that law will change in Maryland as well. I think it's very, very encouraging that we have courts, and one of the most liberal courts in America, the Ninth Circuit Court, is recognizing that we do have the right to firearms, the right to bear arms, which is in the Second Amendment to the United States Constitution, and it shouldn't just be limited. They shouldn't limit it to 10. Now, why do they say that? Why was 10 found to be unconstitutional? Well, first of all, it violated the Second Amendment. The reason was that they gave was that 10, they don't sell many that are 10 or less. Most of them are more. It's just not part of the standard. So I was really encouraged to see that decision happen just this week. And we're going to see more good decisions like that if we can get President Trump re-elected as president.
That's right.
Yeah!
The differences are stark, and I have so many things I can talk about. We talk about law and order. Do we want law and order?
Yep.
Of course, we need law and order. We need it to protect our property. We need to have people who are supporting the police, not continually working against the police. When you look at Biden, he has said, yes, he wants to defund the police, but that doesn't mean what you really think it means. But let me tell you, it means exactly what you think it means. They want to take away money from the police. They want to have less presence of police. And we see the results of that. We don't have to go very far. We're here in Maryland. Let's just look at the city of Baltimore. The city of Baltimore with Freddie Gray, there were riots that occurred. And what did the mayor of the city of Baltimore do? She said, well, we need to let these folks just get their anger out a little bit. Experience it a little bit, and they'll be fine. Apparently, she didn't study history, because anytime this happened in history that they say, let it out a little bit, all that does is encourage more and more destructive behavior and more people, and invite more and more riots. And it got completely out of control in the city of Baltimore, and then what happened? Governor Hogan, thankfully, she finally called and said, would you help? And he was just waiting for that call. I actually kind of begged for the call. And then the Maryland National Guard went in. It didn't take even but a day. Order was restored in the city of Baltimore. So then, what's the aftermath of that? Well, the aftermath was that the politicians in Baltimore said, we don't want to have an overarching or overreaching police department, so we're going to just pull back a little bit. We're not going to go in the neighborhoods like we used to do. We're just going to let things go a little bit without our presence so much. So what was the result of that? Well, the result was, with a lesser population in Baltimore than we've ever had, going back like 100 years, a long time, our murder rate has increased to the highest that it's ever been. That was the result of pulling back. And that's the result we're going to see across our country if we do not have law and order and support the police, not defund the police, but make sure that they're there where they need to be. Just look at Portland, Oregon right now.
Hell on earth.
Is the government doing their job to protect the property of the people in Portland, Oregon? No. How about Minneapolis? What's happening there?
Same.
You know, they have that free zone, but that zone's gone. But what's happened to the police in Minneapolis? Well, they're defunding it. They're moving out, and it's going to have disastrous consequences. And it's going to have these disastrous consequences not years in the future, but right now. And we're going to see it as we go towards the November election. I believe this is going to be an election issue, and it's going to be an election issue that will help President Trump because he is for law and order, and unfortunately his opponent is not. You know, we talk about law and order, we can just look no further than our borders. How about the border of Mexico and the United States? Do we need to have a wall?
Yes.
Yes.
We do. Why do we have to have a wall? Well, there's so many different reasons. But let's look, my opponent, he loves to talk about opioids. That's like his favorite topic. I'm going to fight opioids every chance he gets. That's what he says. But is that what he does?
No.
No. Unfortunately, he doesn't. If we built the wall between the United States and Mexico, one of the biggest things that would happen would be the drug trade would be reduced. Opioids and fentanyl would be kept out of our country to a much greater degree than it is right now. You know, it's interesting, we look at this opioids issue. There was a vote that came up in January where he had a chance to say, with the trade bill, there was an amendment that was offered that would say, if someone, another country, is giving us opioids and fentanyl, and they know it, and we know it, that we could restrict the trade with that country and give the president a lot of authority to restrict that trade and to force them to not give us their opioids and fentanyl. That vote only failed by 4 votes. Unfortunately, David Trone was one of the 4 that said, no, I'm not going to go with this amendment. And it was a real disgrace when he says that's his #1 issue, and yet he won't do what it really takes to support not having fentanyl and opioids come to our country to begin with. Now we know we don't build those things here. They're not grown here. They come all from other countries. And we had a chance. Again, those are 2 examples, the wall and then this trade amendment. And again, he wouldn't support it. It was a real shame. Again, only failed by 4 votes. There's a stark difference, not only between Trump and Biden, but between Parrott and Trump. And that's why I'm really, really excited to be running. I'm thankful to be able to be with you today. I'm thankful to be able to campaign all across District 6, because we can win the seat, and when we do, there's going to be a huge difference. You're going to actually see help for Western Maryland that you're not seeing for your current congressman. You're actually going to see someone who actually wants to work with other statesmen or politicians in D.C. and try to actually get things done. Unfortunately, what we're seeing from David Trone is obstruction, obstruction, obstruction. He worked with Nancy Pelosi on the far left, but that's it. He won't reach across the aisle and work with Republicans on any issues except for things that he knows won't pass. And he uses that as coverage. However, it's not effective. We don't have an effective congressman. And as a matter of fact, our congressman right now is not from Maryland, doesn't live in District 6. He actually lives in Potomac, outside the district. He grew up other places and has business other places. He just moved here just to take the seat, apparently. He spent $15 million, and I don't have $15 million. But what I have are people like you right here in this room. And the Parrott campaign has people like this in this room all across District 6. People who are working very, very hard to help make sure that we get someone to go to D.C. who will represent District 6, someone who lives in District 6, shops in District 6, cares about District 6. Not someone who hangs out with people from Tacoma Park.
Yeah.
Not giving District 8 in Maryland a second congressman, using us and our votes to get him there. Now it's time to make that change, and I'm thankful that you all are going to work together with me to make that change, and also to give President Trump the help that he needs from Congress.
Yeah.
No more of this impeachment, something that he didn't even do, and we know that now. It was false accusations. No more of Nancy Pelosi being Speaker of the House.
Yeah.
We need to replace Nancy Pelosi with a common sense conservative that cares about America and will work with the president. So I want to thank you for being here today. Thank you for so many of you putting out the signs. There are free signs. Go ahead and take them, put them up, bumper stickers. Thank you for folks, everybody here. You've talked to Shohana, who are volunteering, making phone calls, who are going to go door knocking. And of course, it's modified door knocking. We know that for COVID. But we still need that to reach out to our communities so that we can win and win this November. Thank you very much. May God bless you. God bless America.